Taking place in 1860, this skit is based off of the March sisters in Little Women. They lived in a time where women were not treated equally and were fighting for their rights. Meg, the oldest sister, lives in the South and comes to visit her sisters Jo, Amy, and Beth in the North.
Meg! I miss you all so much. Jo, Amy, Beth. What are you doing back here so early?
Yeah, it's not even the holidays yet.
Things are getting bad in the South. I need to talk to Marmee. Where is she?
She's out helping the women's suffrage movement with the other ladies of the church. Things in the North are pretty shaky, but there are far too many people who are for the movement to shut it down.
While she's out, come help us sew some more women's trousers and tell us what's happening in the South.
Things are getting worse every day. Us women don't have much support, so we're trying to create organizations and clubs. We try to speak up, but it really isn't working. It's horrible. Why are you the one sewing the pants?
Because the men at the tailors won't sell pants to women.
Are my pants ready? Your mother's still working hard, so I offered to come check on you.
Here are your pants.
How are things going at the church today?
There's still no violence being used, thank goodness. But there are more protesters every day. The men are getting so upset, they are starting to lash out. I'm just grateful that things here aren't as bad as they are in the South.
I hope you all aren't trying to engage in that. I don't want any of you getting hurt.
Come on, Meg. It's the 19th century. Stop treating us like fragile little China dolls, except for Beth. She's the exception.
Hey!
Enough bickering. Your mother sent me here to check on you, not provoke you. And besides, we have some good news.
What would that be?
I read it in the paper this morning. There was another women's rights convention led by Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and quite a few men were there. Is that true, Annie?
Yes, the news came in last night. Quite exciting, isn't it?
As exciting and life-changing as that might be, I'm still worried for you.
Oh, lighten up, Meg.
She's just worried for our safety because she loves us.
Exactly, Jo. Thank you.
Annie, what's your worries about the movement?
Well, I'm worried that the men that have political power will start coming after our leaders. The only reason they haven't done so in the past years is that they believe the women to pose no threat.
I hope they don't come for any of you.
Oh, Beth, don't fret. What can a few silly men do against us?
If women don't get the right to vote soon, there's a lot they can do to us. Let's hope that Lucy Stone and Henry Blackwell will have some sway with the public.
Good thing Marmee is pushing for that, too.
As am I, of course. Now, I'm terribly sorry, but I must get back to work. We have a lot of planning to do for our next rally.
Good day, Annie.
Joe, do you really think that women will be able to vote soon?
Of course, Amy. Although it may take some time, we women will not give up.
Especially now that women are publishing their own novels without a man's pen name.
Society is really changing from how it was a few years ago.
Yeah, Marmee said that when she was growing up, women couldn't even have any rights.
Apparently, historians thought that the only true woman was a submissive wife that cared only for her family and housework.
Well, this movement will show them what we can really do.
I wonder what our future generations will think of our efforts.
Obviously, things were a lot different for women back then. One example is that most women had 5 to 6 children up to the late 1900s. This is not the case in our world today.
Because of the women's rights movement, women are now able to do many things. We can vote, get closer pay to men, and somewhat be treated as equals.
We had to push for many decades to get where we are today, mostly because of the Civil War put a halt to our activism.
We still are not perfect when considering our rights as women. Our pay is still not equal to men, and we face oppression just because of our gender.
Even though we're in a better place now, we cannot give up fighting for equality. Women did not risk their lives for decades just for us to be treated the same way that they were a few decades ago.
There are still some benefits from the women's suffrage movement, of course.
For example, the right to vote was granted to women in 1920, and we still exercise that.
In 1849, women were first allowed to own property, and in 1916, Jeanette Rankin of Montana became the first woman elected to the House of Representatives.
Overall, the women's rights and suffrage movements allowed women to be seen as individuals in society and not just objects.
We will continue to fight for our rights. We will not stop until we are treated as equals in our world. As Emma Watson said, we need to live in a culture that values and respects and look up to and idolize women as much as men.